The Wrestling Mayhem Show. Since 2006, the pioneer in pro wrestling podcasting.
This show is brought to you by IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza.
Just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you have to do, make it last. Wait for the
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show, episode 957. Tuesdays, we've been talking about professionalized wrestling. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, ready to talk wrestling with you. And this week, we have a very special guest, and we're back on a Tuesday here. We will be for at least a couple weeks, and then it'll get weird for June. So, programming note, it's going to get weird. But in the meantime, we're hanging out with an old friend in professional wrestling. He is the heir apparent. He is Chris LeRusso with us. How you doing, Chris?
Doing fantastic. Thank you for having me on, Sorg. I always appreciate, love coming on the Mayhem Show.
It's always an easy night because I know we're going to have a long conversation.
LeRusso, shut up. That seems to be...
A sort, you know. Only when it's like, oh no, this card's about filled. And it's 1 a.m. Let's get out of here, please. Yep. So, but I mean, I don't know. Who's the biggest... This is the wrong question to start with. Who's the biggest please shut up in wrestling?
Well, the most loquacious... Well, you would probably be able to know who your most loquacious host your co-host has been.
Who have I been here the latest after a show still talking?
I'm probably in the short list for
You're
that.
in the short list with that. I can tell you Glenn Spector is also on the very short list of that.
I'm shocked. Really?
Love Glenn.
Glenn!
Yes.
I cannot imagine that Glenn Spector.
And there's the general group of Top Rope is usually here until 3 a.m. So anyways, but no, you got some cool stuff going on. We're gonna flip the script a little bit here tonight because some of our co-hosts may be joining us later in the show to talk about the general wrestling. But we are here to talk about, for one thing, you do have something coming up here in the next couple weeks. You have something. We'll give the highline here, and we'll get into the details here in a little bit. But you have a Pittsburgh Pro Wrestling Camp and Combine coming up.
Yes.
That is going to be down at the Stronghold Training Center down there in Uniontown, including, hey, look, there's Glenn Spector.
Yep.
John McChesney, Colin Delaney, and Kevin Kelly. What a lineup, and all guys I've had the fortune of working with in my time here, and we'll touch base on all of that in a second and what that's all about. But first, I do have comments and questions.
Let's hear it
from the group.
Oh no!
I usually don't mention our guests in advance. I kind of like surprising people and say, "Hey, who's on this week?" and then let people kind of drop into it. I book it like an ECW pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Those turned out okay.
They turned out okay, or every Thursday night because I realized that.
Well, that's a completely different topic.
It's a different topic, but I also there was a point where I realized, oh my God, nobody else knows what's about to happen.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like I've had the potential card for 3 days, but nobody else knows. And this probably changed. But anyways, first of all, so I just did like, hey, I've been doing this like, so we want to talk about. By the way, we do have this guest this week, and I was shared a clip. This is apparently from Wrestling Mayhem Show 901.
901. Wow.
That Matt pulled, and I don't know what our conversation was at the time. Obviously, Mayhem Mania was happening at the time, but let me see if I can get audio going on this. I'm sorry I don't have a patch in for this at the moment, but here you go. It's Matt Carlin, so he had something to say.
Okay. That too.
Oh, I've failed this whole thing.
It's okay.
I failed this whole segment. There we go.
You know, I think about Chris LeRusso almost every day. Oh yeah. And wonder, what is Chris LeRusso up to? And is he thinking about me? You know, I think about Chris LeRusso almost every day. Oh yeah. And wonder, what is Chris LeRusso up to? And is he thinking about me?
So you get the idea. So from Matt Carlin's.
Matt Carlin, what am I doing during the day? Well, Matt, you freak, you pervert, you emotional voyeur. Most of the day is pretty routine. You know, I've got the 9 to 5, and try and be an agent for truth, justice, and liberty in the United States of America. And then when I set that down, honestly, I'm thinking about wrestling a lot.
But are you thinking about Matt Carlin's, mainstream Matt Carlin's?
Almost never.
Okay.
Almost at no time do I think. Well, you know what? I'll tell you when I think about Matt Carlin, when I'm ready to come to the Wrestling Mayhem Show, whenever there's going to be some Sorgatron media. I do think about Matt Carlin's before the Thursday Night Fight streams because he's featured very prominently in your
has been. We have changed that since.
Oh, okay.
He was for a good period there. I finally
him and the Riz.
Yes.
So I would say if it makes him feel any better in passing, I think about him weekly.
Nick Griffin,
okay,
former commissioner of VCW, out there in Beastman Pro, if you want to call it.
Beastman Pro
asked about the House of Truth run in Ring of Honor.
You know what's ironic?
I don't know if we've really talked about it on the show. Maybe when it happened.
No, I mean, House of Truth run is a little bit strong. I mean, I got to be a one night only member of the House of Truth. You know what's ironic is that there was at one point some discussion, some very, 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 very tertiary, discussions. But I personally always got along with Truth Martini. I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from him at the Ring of Honor camps, which ironically is going to lead into what we're going to talk about in a minute. Yeah. And I did have all I can speak to is that Truth was incredibly easy to work with and very, very, very generous, sharing his TV time and his mic time with me. But I do remember a very interesting story, and I'll try and be quick because we don't have all day. When I believe it was the Ring of Honor 13th, 15th anniversary. It was when they were in Vegas for their anniversary at the Orleans Hotel and Casino. And I got to talk to Truth maybe like a day before, the evening before. And he's out on the casino floor and we're talking. And I'm just picking his brain, trying to, pick up some knowledge. And he goes, hey, kid, come on over. We're going to go over here. Let's keep talking, whatever. And I go into this nightclub with him.
You got to add a slightly more Detroit to that accent.
A little more gradual.
Yeah.
He had a great laugh. He had a great evil laugh. And so we pull, and all I remember, I can't remember the name or anything like that, but it's so dark. And the only lighting is like very faint blue mood lighting to kind of, and we roll into this booth, and sitting in the booth is Delirious, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, who was between TNA and eventually going to NXT. He had a very short run with he had a very, very, very short run with Ring of Honor in between there, and Chris Daniels. And I knew Delirious knew me from the camps. I'm not sure any of the and so Truth goes, hey, this is Chris. And I'm like, hello, best wrestlers in the world. How are you doing today? Because this is when AJ was the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Chris Daniels left TNA, had just come back and was doing, I think The Addiction was the name, was him and Kazarian. The World Tag Team Champions of the world. Was that the name of the?
Was that the proto SCU kind of era? Okay.
Yeah, but I they were the World Tag Team Champion. Him and Kazarian were the World Tag Team Champions of the world.
Yes.
And Joe, and I just remember being so lucky to sit there and talk, get knowledge from those guys. And so while I was never accepted, I will always have a lot of affinity for the House of Truth. So great theme music too. They had a really cool theme at Ring of Honor.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Absolutely. Let's see. Zeke Mercer has a question for you.
Of course he does.
So, the difference between Pittsburgh wrestling comparing between 2017-18 and 2024-25. One person, Bradley responded, COVID. Next question.
God, that is such an interesting question because
COVID did kind of upset the apple cart on that. Like I feel like that was a big interrupt for a lot of places. I mean, there were some places that never recovered. That is
some
true.
Places that never came. I don't think Black Diamond never really came back after that.
It's a little self-inflicted, but
well, sure, but there were. But I mean, just
but still, the air. When you think COVID, everything happening COVID, including all of that.
Yes. Yeah, when you think about how and how creative people had to be. But here's the interesting thing. In some ways, there are still companies right now that are basically running it as if it was 2017, have not changed their presentation, have barely changed their, maybe the roster's gotten a little bit of an update, but still a lot of the same faces, a lot of things. And then you see that there are some new players on the scene, post-COVID, Enjoy, 880, Beastman Pro, I'm sorry, Victory. Is it?
It's Victory Championship
Victory
Wrestling,
Championship Wrestling. Sorry, Wes.
It's our internal.
Make...
There's Gambino Pro and there's Beastman Pro, as we call them.
But, well, I mean, he has been to Japan, Michinoku Pro. So
it's true. That is
he could probably pull it off.
Yep.
So there's a lot of new places that are doing, I think there's new schools. There's some companies that are trying to resurrect and trying to rebuild and, have a new look. PWX rebranded in the last couple months. So in some ways, the area is completely different. And in other ways, it's very much the same. I will say, if you want like one answer, I think the idea of who can be a top guy in a professional in an indie wrestling company in Pittsburgh has changed.
Okay.
I do think that the idea of who can be on top, who can be in the main event, who can be featured, who can be get a title, I think has expanded. And I think we've seen, whether it's oh God, I'm going to blank. Either Surreal at Enjoy, Sunny Kiss at Enjoy. 880's been given new life to so many people. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just finally watched The Wedding from Enjoy. I wasn't there for it, so Missy was the one that got to switch that one. Scotty made me watch it over the weekend when we were working. My God, what a fucking production! Like it's the most complex, layered thing that just ends up in wrestling in dresses at the end.
Well,
and it's just so wonderful. And every time I talk to him, he's like, "We're never fucking doing that again."
No, I can imagine because what had happened was pull the curtain back a little bit. I actually agented some of the matches on that card, and so I'm going through the I was like, all right, give me the run sheet. Let me see what we're doing with here. And I saw the first page was everything before the wedding, and the entire next 2 to 3 pages was the wedding. And I looked at him and I was like, I can't add to this. Like you have this blocked, scripted, And
there's some footage for you guys of this wedding situation.
Oh, fantastic.
On B-roll as we're talking. And I'm sure Enjoy won't send me a takedown. So,
what's funny? Like one of the things, I've never met Dark Sheik before, but I believe their theme music is from the Sega Genesis X-Man video game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which I loved.
Wonderful.
I loved that game. So when I heard that beat, I was like, oh, that is badass. That is so cool. But they had a fantastic match.
In heels.
Little Mark
in heels.
A press slam in one heel. That if that's not a
she turned her to every corner.
And you want to know another thing? I saw the footage. There is Sunny Kiss with one heel press slamming Dark Sheik, and then the next clip I saw was Sunny Kiss press slamming Spencer Slade. That's a strong bitch right there. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
With all due respect, Sonny. With all due respect.
Yes. There you go. There's the press slam, and is this the turnaround one? Yep, there it is.
That's incredible. That is so impressive.
In one heel. My God.
You know what? Strength alone. I want to see Bill Collier try and do this with one high heel. I don't think he can do it.
Listen, who's going to be daring enough to put Bill Collier in an evening gown match? First of all, okay, let's start with this. All right. Like I tangentially know about a Duke Davis Bill Collier feud, and maybe you guys need a little bit more spice to get people
you know
watching.
what? Yeah.
I mean, maybe just a little bit more.
I-
And I think we found it.
By the way,
Heels.
congratulations to Bill Collier. He's got a big opportunity here with TNA Wrestling here pretty soon.
Fantastic.
So
good.
good for him. Although I do believe he is an expat now. He has betrayed the United States of America.
Wait, what?
And
Is he an Iraqi sympathizer?
No.
What is this?
No, I'm looking, and I believe look up the name William Trudeau and TNA Wrestling.
Oh no.
William Trudeau.
Well, William Trudeau is an ice hockey player.
Well, so go William Trudeau, TNA Wrestling.
TNA Wrestling, preview a lineup for Border Brawl streaming live. No, I think this is something else.
Oh, that might be
maybe
it.
It isn't. Is this it? Hold on. Okay. Not on the graphics. Not on graphics. William. I don't see a William.
Hold on.
Okay.
I
All right, you might have to send me some.
I might have to
info
send
on
you
here.
something. Hold on.
I am the research department at the moment. If anybody can tell me out in the chat room, please send me a link, and I'll see about pulling it up. So this is a. Is this?
But no, no, seriously, congratulations to Bill. He's been
Yeah.
grinding for a long time. And,
Absolutely, and just has not lost a step. He's been awesome. Anytime
he's
I
got the
see
fountain
him-
of youth. He found the fountain of youth somewhere. So
Absolutely, he's been awesome. And oh God, Allied. I forgot the letters above us. Fed.
Allied Powers
APWF. Thank you.
Wrestling.
Sorry, just a brain fart for the moment. So, between there. I got him. It was not in text, and there you go. Taking on Sami Callihan at Canada versus USA Border Brawl.
By the way, I was trying to for that camera, that very unflattering camera shot was me looking on my phone trying to find that graphic.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Zone 5 presents Canada versus USA Border Brawl at the Niagara Falls Convention Center. What is this thing? I have not caught up. I've been traveling. I'm like 2 weeks behind on Dynamite. Anyways, thank you for the graphic in the group chat as well. No, Bill Collier is not the goon. Is he the goon? Is that the gimmick? Is that what he's doing?
I don't know. I just know that I didn't know he had a Canadian heritage. So good for him.
Okay, well, hey, you never know. You never
know.
So we'll see how that goes. No, good for him on that though. Hey, tell you what, real quick, let's take a quick break and thank our Patreon supporters. And we'll keep talking here with Chris LeRusso, the heir apparent, has a great combine seminar coming up here in Uniontown at the end of the month, and we'll be getting a little bit more of that in a moment. But in the meantime, let's give a shout to the people helping make this show go at patreon.com/
keeping the lights on.
Wrestling Mayhem Show, keeping the servers spinning, baby. I don't know. I think they still spin. I don't know. They're in Florida, wherever our server is. But thank you, everybody there, including our friends at the fan of the show level, Bo Diggity! Woo! So good to have somebody to do that. Team Hammerfist, the Tupac family, Bubba Brewer of the Triple B podcast and APWF. See, this is why I have it in my notes. And then Jason French at the Poppy Club level, Dave Propod Ponder, Rastin Trenchcoat, Tony Kincaid, The Riz, and Bradley. I don't have the Bradley graphic.
I still owe him a super kick at some point.
You know, he got wedgied at VCW by, I think, Marcus Twitch. And we show it every week in Riz's background. And sometimes Riz takes a business meeting and forgets that it's in his background. So, anyways. Well, let's talk about this for a moment. Again, you have, let me get that graphic up. Nope, it's gone. Nope, there it is. Let's get our chat room on. It's a little weird. But no, you got the Pittsburgh Pro Wrestling Camp and Combine. It's going to be Saturday, May 31st at 10 a.m. there. Wow, that's a long day down there at Uniontown at the Stronghold. That's Rise Wrestling's training facility down there in the same building that you see the show, actually.
Yes.
The old Uniontown Mall. And, you know, malls aren't doing good, and they're taking advantage of it. So, you know, and they got a lot of space.
There's a lot of mall wrestling these days.
Exactly.
I've seen. I've seen a couple companies that do that. So the sort of the beginning of this was, I had a great run at Rise Wrestling, working behind the scenes there, and stepped away for a little while. I was kind of figuring out what I want to do next, and so I've dabbled, trained a little bit with the school down at 880 Wrestling. I've been helping ever since Man Dime towards Dime get well soon, and I do a quick shout out to his workout program, Part of the reason I'm back in the ring. Thank you very much to the Man Dime workout program. But I was trying to figure out what I want to do next, and I reflected a lot on the old Ring of Honor camps, and we were talking about how long it's been for the two of us being around the wrestling business, and I mean, I remember talking to you about those camps, and I remember just how much good those camps did for professional wrestling, and I don't just mean what they did for Ring of Honor, and they did do great for Ring of Honor. There's a lot of fantastic. Matt Taven was discovered at one of those camps. There were so many talents that were.
Frost and Benjamin went through the dojo program.
Went through the dojo program there. There was so much good that those did, not only in getting people opportunities at Ring of Honor, myself included, but they also were so instructional. And I feel like what happened is they would, the camp was, the Briscoes, God rest Jay, Kevin Kelly, Delirious, Jay Lethal, Truth Martini, Brutal Bob Evans, Mike Bennett, all these talents who would come in and would do this, and they would you would get so much on Adam Cole, Jimmy Jacobs, so you got so many different perspectives on wrestling. You got so much knowledge, and it was just poured into all of these people over a 2-day period. And then I feel like a lot of times what would happen is, even if there were people who didn't get the opportunity to get a match at Ring of Honor, or who maybe didn't get a contract or whatever the case may be, they took that knowledge back with them to the various indie companies that they came from. And so it was this infusion of knowledge into the indie scene that really improved. So even if, people who never went to those camps benefited from those camps. I took a lot from those camps and, put that into my own training program and my own training philosophy. Which
obviously worked out. You mentioned like you had a hand in some people that we've seen on TV.
Well, thank you. I
Right?
appreciate that. I'm very proud to say, Cole Carter still doing well. Completely lifted the fraternities gimmick, but that probably was not his call.
Ironically, in Ring of Honor right now.
Yeah, ironically in Ring of Honor. But Spencer Slade, obviously,
doing
tearing
great
it up,
in NWA,
doing a great job in the NWA.
Yep.
And a lot of other people who've had opportunities. Katie Arquette got the match on Raw, has had a lot of big opportunities there. And what I wanted was, I wanted that back in some way. I wanted those back because not only did the change in ownership of Ring of Honor bring that to a close. It's now part of the AEW conglomerate. So it's really not
it lost its roots, like the indie connections.
Yes,
that it used to have. It's got like whatever AEW has with the indies, but it kind of severed all those old ties.
A lot of that, and there was a lot of opportunities for knowledge that I think was just lost. Where, man, I really wanted to bring that back. I started thinking, it's like, man, why can't we do that? Why can't we do that? Why can't we have something where we have, the similar structure to the ring? You mentioned that it's a 10 a.m. start, and for a lot of people, that's a long day. That's that's a 7-hour day with a lunch break. But the fact of the matter is, those Ring of Honor camps were sometimes 2, 9, 10-hour days. Where you would have the opportunity to do promo class with Kevin Kelly and with Jimmy Jacobs, and you would watch each other cut promos, and you'd see not only have your work critiqued, but other people's work critiqued, but in a productive and uplifting way where everyone benefit. I can't remember anybody who ever left any of those camps going like, I didn't get my money's worth, or I didn't get, that was a money grab. I never heard that from the Ring of Honor camps. I heard that from other camps, other organizations, other tryouts. I never heard that from the Ring of Honor ones. And so I was thinking, like, man, so many of these guys are still. I wanted to get Bob Evans back. I wanted to get a couple other people. Unfortunately, he was booked that day. But the other thought I had was that a lot of times, if you do see seminars in and around Pittsburgh, it's very much connected to a company or a school, and it's who they're bringing. It's who they're bringing in to they're going to work the show that night. They're going to do a seminar earlier in the day, try and offset some costs, and some of them are good and some of them are bad, but they're always, in my opinion, rushed. They're always a situation where, the match and the show that evening is the main focus. So, and I am not at all suggesting that any of these people mail it in. I've seen some great camps and seminars, but it's always the match that's the focus.
At a certain point, like there's a lack of focus, right?
Yeah.
There's too much to happen that day.
And even if these people wanted to, I know that Ace Austin had a great seminar just recently with Rise. I know that Dr. Tom came in, but there's not a lot you can do in a 2 and 3 hour window. You just can't. I mean,
and usually around, how many times I've set up production around an Al Snow seminar, Killer Cross's seminar,
yeah,
things like that.
Where you're having to or if if you would want to go to this, you either have to be booked on the show, a student, or you risk losing a booking that day because of what happened. So I thought, I was like, you know what, we can do this. We can do this. So I reached out and I was blown away at the people who were not only willing to do it, but who were enthusiastic. Colin Delaney was so enthusiastic and so happy that this was happening, and so like amped up. It's like, this is a great idea. We need to do, because I do feel like there is a lot of that where, there's so much about wrestling, and there's so many students now too. I mean, in Pittsburgh has arguably 4 schools, maybe 5
off the top of my head. 4
that are actively putting out students and actively getting people in it. So there's so many young students, there's so many people who are brand new to the business. Opportunities are so limited. I mean, even places like 80, which bend over backwards to really give people an opportunity and to get them started. Thursday night fights used to be 3-4 matches. Thursday Night Fights is now an 8-match, 90-minute card.
No, we're struggling to keep it under 7 right now.
Yeah, and that is not at all a criticism. That is a compliment that 880 has so many people who are ready to work, who want to learn, who want to get the experience, who want to get the footage.
It's still a training show.
It's still a training show
for them and our team, like video and wrestlers alike.
And, so there's all this thirst for knowledge. And I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. We were originally going to do it with 880. There was some concerns, and I want to make this very clear because 880 bent over backwards to accommodate this. They were so open-minded. They were really amped for it. Parking on the south side is at its best day not great. 40 plus wrestlers, plus coaches, plus video crew, plus all these other things. There was a couple of logistical issues that just was like, man, I don't know if these can all be resolved.
Which is also a symptom of how popular this became too.
Yes, and I mean,
so it basically outgrew the space booked for it. Yeah.
So and Rise was more than willing to accommodate, and I've already said, I've talked to MV, and we're going to do something else at 880, maybe a smaller project, but we're definitely going to do something with them. And I've seen students from all the different schools, from inside of Pittsburgh, from outside of Pittsburgh. And the thing that's also really encouraging is with the Ring of Honor camp, there was always kind of the dangling carrot of, well, if you really impress us, who knows, you might end up on Ring of Honor television. You might end up with a Ring of Honor contract. I didn't have a dangling carrot. The dangling carrot that I had initially was knowledge. And then there were some people who suggested, and I wish to God I could remember who the first person suggested this, but what more could you get? I was like, well, you can get a professional promo photo taken, because people are always trying to get up-to-date new promo photos. ECM Photographies, jumped on board, was very enthusiastic about that. Some of these people are students, don't have a lot of footage, don't have a lot of practice matches or show matches to show up. Well, what do you know? I know it's a media company, Sidekick Media, and IndieWrestling.us, who now, when you come to the camp, what you will get not only will you get to learn from Kevin Kelly, John McChesney, Glenn Spector, Colin Delaney, you will also get a new promo photo and a practice match, professionally filmed by. And if you want to know how good it is, watch the Thursday Night Fights streams. You do an incredible job with that. The idea I wanted is I want everyone to leave better. I want everyone to leave with a roadmap to like, what are your goals? Well, let's figure out how to get there. What are your goals? And let's figure out how to get there. There is a photo going around right now that is like the first promo photos of famous WWE superstars. I saw it on Facebook. I'm not sure exactly where it was, but there is like the first promo photos of Indy Hartwell or the first Shotzi Blackheart or
Is this the one that Soraya was sharing?
Soraya,
around?
I believe maybe Soraya. Soraya looks 12 in her first, and she very well might have been because I know she broke into the business very young. But
I think that's a Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley,
back in the day.
yeah. Like, let me see. I think you're right. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you look, you know what these promo photos? They look like the same promo photos I've seen from 100. We all started the same place. You know, well, not all. A lot of us started in the same place. All right. If not you, who? All right. If not now, when?
Yeah.
If you want to see, like, does that look any different than the promo photos that you would see, on the on any indie show around Pittsburgh? Probably worse, to be quite frank.
No, we're pretty lucky these days. Oh my God, Brody King will show up on your monitor in a second. There's so much less of him. When you get to it, it's going up.
Yeah, but like you see this and you're like, guys, this is, if you want it, they were in the same spot you were in. They were on the indies. They were making shows. They were working for. So you see that it's not impossible. It's not absurd. It's not a insurmountable mountain. But let's figure out how to get from there to there.
Yep.
And I think we have the right people who can teach you to do it. Colin had his, Colin's a great example of somebody who, just made the most of his
just look
minutes.
what he looked like in WWE versus now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's a different person beyond that.
Yeah.
So
he's gotten to ride the ride a couple times. John's obviously 20 plus year, veteran, runs his own company, does amazing work. A crime that he never got a better run. Kevin Kelly used to hold the mic for The Rock. These are people who know. Glenn Spector has, for instance. Glenn Spector, tours of Japan. Way back in the day.
Yeah.
So like, there's the knowledge that like, let's get you on that path, because I feel like that. And Sorg, maybe you can speak to this. There's a lot of people who they've got the desire, but they just don't know what to do. They're like, well, so do I just keep working matches until I get signed? Is that how this works?
Well, and I find something different, similar in video. I work with different teams, and they're like, "Oh, why don't you do it this way?" I'm like, "Because I've never thought about it." You know what I mean? Like, and I think that happens with wrestling. If you're in one silo, how everybody around you does it, but that's not going to grow you to get to another level, right? That's why we always get out of Pittsburgh, get out of Pittsburgh, because it's like everybody around here does things a certain way. There's some variation, but you need to go find out what happens here, here, and here. I've say you've seen the product too. Exodus. I can tell if a guy came from Exodus because they treat the camera a different way. They treat the match a different way, and it's the way that you see it on TV. And that's what I want to see more people do in this area, so that they can get out easier.
Pretty Boy Smooth is a great example of somebody who, I think he had probably gone in and a lot of people saw his size and just thought monster, monster, choke slam, power bomb, wait to be signed. Like that, just do that.
Yeah.
And he is so much more than that as a talent. He has so much more charisma, so much more creativity. And so, you know what he did? He decided that he wasn't just going to keep doing it the same way that he'd been doing it. Reinvented himself a couple times. Now, he was just in the Crockett Cup. Another guy who's making really big progress with the NWA, turned a lot of heads, doing great stuff with Exodus.
His Midwest run was tremendous.
Yeah.
Like how many places he took that belt and everything. That was great. And Casanova is doing the same thing. I can't wait to see what he does with it.
And
Superstars.
There's just so much, and that's kind of what I would like to see. Ideally, this gets some people changing their mindset.
Yep.
And gets some people the knowledge and look, I'm going to be honest with some people. There's going to be some people who I'm like, you know what? I think you need to go back to a beginner's class. I think that you need to step away and work on your body or your health or this gimmick. I mean, your in-ring work is good. Your promos are good, but this gimmick's a dead end. And I had that. Kevin Kelly told me that at one point when I was doing the American Psycho. And he was very, very, very forward about the fact that, like, look, you got some really cool ideas. This stuff isn't going to fly in Middle America. Because I had pitched this idea of beating my opponents with like a sleeper hold and then wrapping them in plastic. Because Dexter was really hot at the time.
Okay.
And well, the Undertaker put people in a body bag. I figured what would, and he said, like, it's great, it's fantastic. It'll get us kicked off of half of these networks that we, because they were in the Sinclair Broadcasting conglomerate. I'm not sure what the phrase is, but a lot of Middle America. And so ultimately that led to the Heir Apparent, and that led to my Ring of Honor matches, my opportunities on television.
You had a crown. You had a crown for a moment.
Had a crown for a minute, yeah. And eventually Top Prospects. So, I can't say that if you want some, like, from me in karate pants to national television and the Top Prospects tournament, the people there got me there. I want to see this next generation do even better. And and so that's what we're doing. The camp's going to be, like I said, 10 a.m. to 5 with a break for lunch. I'm trying to cap it at 40. We're rapidly closing in on that number. A couple of the coaches said open it up. I kind of want to make sure that everyone gets their personal attention.
Yeah.
But I'll encourage people, if you're interested, please reach out now. Message me directly, social media. You can find me pretty easily, Chris LeRusso. Also, Avalon Training and Entertainment. That is the LLC that will be doing the business side of Chris LeRusso.
Which proves it's not attached to a wrestling company. It's a fully separated thing.
It's a fully separated thing. And, again, I do want to say, though, big thanks to Rise Wrestling. Big thanks to 880 Wrestling. And honestly, big thanks to everyone around town. I know that the new management at PWX put in a good word for it. A lot of the students at IWC have been very enthusiastic about it. So, people in West Virginia, people in Maryland, the owner of Route 33, Jesse was very, very, very kind and spoke very highly of my skills and was nice enough to put in a good word. So we got some people coming in from down that way and some people from the Route 33 area. I'm nervous. I won't lie. This is the biggest thing I've ever done as an individual. So.
Yeah,
we'll
but
see
look
how it goes.
at the experts you have here. Like, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Like, we could see Kevin Kelly again. I haven't seen him for years.
Kevin's fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing. I had tried to see if I could get him into town early for the 880, the brewery show. He is unfortunately already booked, but I wanted to take Kevin Kelly to Penn Brewery and be like, watch this. You're going to love this. And you know what? He would love it. He would love. I will say that in all those Ring of Honor camps, he was always so positive. He never rolled his eyes at a single wrestler. He never was like, this fucking guy. Everyone who left that promo room left better. And that's the kind of person who I want on. That's the kind of person who I want teaching the next generation.
Well, I'm hoping a lot of those kids from that Friday night show will be showing up at this seminar, because I think a lot of them are on the right track.
Yes,
with you around and some of the people have been teaching down there at 8 a.m. We're really, it's been, I can't remember last time put over 880 for a second, but that I saw so many good characters come. Last time I remember so many good characters coming out of school was like the era of like the Katie Arquettes and the Brits and the Jinx and the, like that era of people.
Well, I remember there was an era, and thank you very much. That was
all you? Oh, you're welcome.
That was my
accidental compliment.
Well, Arquette was kind of a, because Katie had a history as a theater actress.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, I'm an actress character. Well, what's a wrestling actress? Well, David Arquette. I was like, wouldn't it be funny one day if David Arquette showed up on the show? And then years later, I'm just standing there.
Out the gap.
Like,
This happened?
That shows you, folks. Speak it into existence.
Absolutely.
Speak it into existence, and it can happen.
I just like Joe Henry's going around trying to speak into existence, trying to get a match with John Cena. On
You're telling me that's not going to happen?
Yeah, I think it's going to freaking happen.
I think it's
he
going to
just
be
did WrestleMania. I think he's on his way.
Yeah. So,
and I would love it to happen at a TNA show.
By the way, Joe Hendry, Ring of Honor camp participant.
There you go.
I got to see him and the Scarlett Bordeaux sing.
Wow. Whoa.
Sing.
Whoa.
Scarlett's got a beautiful voice, and Joe.
But she sings on that track, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, that they use.
And so seeing that was one of those like, that's kind of interesting. Flash forward 6 years.
Speaking of COVID, like Joe Hendry's one of those that worked on his body.
Yep.
During lockdowns because he was stuck in Scotland or whatever, right?
Yep.
Because it was like, oh, that's kind of funny, but like what is
singing guy,
do?
yeah.
And now he's like, got that he got that LA night bod, or whatever happened there. Yeah, exactly. So and it's like okay, and he still has all the rest of the stuff. God, when I saw Elias come out with him a couple months ago, my God, it's like so perfect.
So perfect.
It's a team I didn't know I wanted, but made so much sense.
No, it makes so much sense. There's a lot of things where like I didn't realize I needed this until I saw it right in front of me.
Absolutely.
Pro wrestling has a lot of that.
You know what TNA did for Elias that WWE never did?
What's that?
Put him on a horse.
I can't argue with that. I will say the one thing though. The one thing that WWE did that I don't think, man, they should have pushed this more. When Elias, when they had WrestleMania in New Orleans, they got Elias a gig to play music on Bourbon Street.
Yes.
That should have been on Monday Night Raw.
Or at least the network.
Yes.
Well, I think they did put it on the network.
They put a clip. They didn't put the whole.
They had like several songs. There's like 3 songs or something. But still, the rest of it was probably messy, to be honest, because it was Bourbon Street.
I mean, Bourbon Street, anything can happen on Bourbon Street.
Right.
But
like, man, if they do then, would have loved if he was still around. Well, maybe he was, but if they did like SummerSlam in Nashville and he's like on
that would have been
on
cool.
Broadway.
That would have been so cool.
Like Broadway's cool enough to begin with.
Yeah.
So but
hey, but could still happen.
Now. I mean, TNA loves Nashville. You never know what's gonna happen there. So no, that's great. Let's take a moment here. Where are we at with things? Okay, I don't think we're getting to the regular stuff because I do want to touch base on something because you got one more thing coming up here that I want to talk about. And of course, IndieWrestling.us, where a lot has happened. We got a lot of Chris LeRusso's history over here.
Oh, good Lord.
Even some old VOWs in there.
Hey, I
think that's where
wrestled,
Bradley got to know you.
I wrestled Davey Richards at VOW.
There you go.
I will not slander VOW because that was probably the biggest match of my career.
I say that with heart. I love VOW when it was like, what is this wild stuff? Because they had, when I was going to watch them, eventually they were in the theater where Rise ended up in. I love that theater. We were pontificating about how great that used to be, being in that theater and having the production booth that set everything up.
Oh yeah, that was
and just like you were right beside the music and everything. It was just like it was a beautiful setup. I love the vibe back in that day.
The Rural Mall,
the Rural Mall, man. But anyways, I wanted to bring up because you have been having a back and forth with this Dior Castro in 880.
Yes.
And I want to speak on that a little bit real quick before I let you go here, right? And we'll see what we're doing for the rest of the show. But tell me a little bit about this situation for those that might not be tuning in on Thursday nights or anything.
I got to say this because I said it in the ring and I'll say it here. I am proud of all of my students. Everyone who I have ever trained, everyone who I have ever put into the wrestling business, they were all I was proud of anybody who took the energy, who had the balls to try it, and who had the fortitude to stick with it. So, I do. On one hand, I do get a little of Dior's frustration because I always thought Dior was very talented, and I always thought that his talents just kind of he came in a weird era. It was sort of the post-COVID era. So he debuts at one of the drive-in shows, and I think he may have had some of his first matches when I was doing the Proving Ground series at the back of the storage unit, and so I feel like his career kind of, he didn't get the same opportunities that maybe like a Cole Carter.
It's terrible timing.
It was really, really, it was terrible timing, and I think he's felt that he was overlooked and that he was neglected. And, I've been saying a lot of, I speak very highly of my students. I speak very highly of Wardlow and Cole Carter and of Spencer Slade and, Katie Arquette and all of these people who I've had an opportunity to help out with. And, Dior so far has not reached those same heights. Doesn't mean that he won't. And he seems to think that that's my fault. And he seems to think that, if he wants to get some attention, that maybe kicking my ass will get some attention on him. And well, he's going to get his wish because next Friday at the Penn Brewery for 880 Wrestling, No Ceilings, student versus teacher. And, it's been a minute since he's attended one of my classes, and this is going to be a lesson that he's not going to forget anytime soon. I'll just say that. I hope for his sake, he's as good as he thinks he is. And if he's not, I am going to run through him as soon as that bell rings. So, yeah, I'm 20 plus years in the business. I think I can handle myself. So Dior, I've taught you everything you know, and I'm going to teach you a little bit more next Friday at 880 Wrestling. No Ceilings, Penn Brewery.
There you go. It's going to be outside. It's going to be on the parking garage, rain permitting, of course. Or maybe we'll just get a giant tent. I don't know. So you're going to kick his ass to the city skyline.
That will be a refreshing. That'll be something new. I haven't done that yet. I did kick someone's ass to your skyline.
Yes, you did across the street here. Was that like a 6-way? Wasn't it?
Oh God, it was a 6-way scramble.
Yeah. Well, that make me look it up.
Well, Lee Moriarty, Jackson Argos,
some guy with a mask.
Snoop,
I think the name was.
Oh
yes.
Goodness. Something McQueen.
That was the guy with the mask.
That's
right?
the guy with the God, and I can't. Oh, and Victor Benjamin, the Savage Gentleman.
Yes,
the Savage Gentleman.
And Jackson Argos, I believe, is in this match. I just saw you get clotheslined over the top rope. So if you look up Lucha Fiesta Pittsburgh, the entire show, including Ultimo Dragon Bull, James, Sam Adonis, Lee Moriarty, and more. I believe there's a Ray Lynn and Lady Frost match in there as well.
Absolutely.
Beastman did something.
That's you. I was about to say that's we can see your studio from some of those shots.
Yeah. The hard cam shot is looking directly at the studio, and I love when the train is going by. Like, listen, man, I didn't end up getting paid for this show, but I feel okay for this. I'm okay.
Hey, Sam. Hey, whoa. Hey, Sam, come on.
So, that's not a that's not a slam on Sam.
Come on.
There was something that's supposed to happen that fell through. So, it
that's wrestling.
Shit happens in wrestling, but still, like, it was a really cool experience. And also just like the film around the Latino community and and like lucha wrestling and having them chant everything. That was such a cool vibe.
That was very, very cool.
Like, I really want to do something like that again up here.
Hopefully. There's so many opportunities and like, you see what 880 is doing, you see what Enjoy is doing, you see what all the companies in the area. And I have reached the point now where, and this might be a good place to sort of wrap it up, but I'm now had an opportunity to work for most of the companies in town.
Yeah.
And I have a
Same.
and I have a new appreciation for just how difficult it is to be doing, because, when you're a wrestler, you're thinking, oh my God, chimpanzee could do this job. Like, how hard is that? We do the hard part. We get in there and we take the bumps. Like, any idiot could figure out how to do this. And I'm like, I have new respect for all the ownership. I have new respect for all of the creative. I have new respect for you and for the technical side of this, because, like, if it's not for you, we're doing this for cell phone cams, holding up, and
Some people still doing that. I think that's how they film Happy Hour. So
well, but new appreciation for different trainers.
Mojo McQueen, by the way.
Mojo McQueen, fantastic talent.
Yes.
Very cool. He had the smoking treasure box. That was a cool gimmick.
Sorry, I just came across the chat. So
Yeah.
I don't want to get in.
But I do have a new respect, and I understand. I understand a little bit more some of the moments where maybe people weren't at their best,
Mhm.
where people weren't their most patient, where people weren't their most forthright, and I don't want to say, oh, it's all love, we should all come together. It's like, no, I understand some people probably are best kept apart and in different companies. But I do have just massive appreciation, respect for everybody, and for keeping Pittsburgh wrestling going so strong. We were talking before the camera came on. Like, I'd love to look a little bit more on the history of Pittsburgh wrestling. I'd like to know more about, not just we sometimes you think about like studio wrestling or old WWE or WWF,
Mhm.
but like there's a whole history now of independent wrestling, where it's like we're getting on close to 30 years.
Mhm.
If we consider, I was talking very briefly with Norm Connors about this, like, when does Pittsburgh independent wrestling start? And, maybe 1993, 1996, something. Whenever the beginnings of Steel City Wrestling and PWX are, we're closing in on 30 years of Pittsburgh independent wrestling. That's a lot. That's a lot of history. And I just, you've captured, God, you've 20 years of it. Maybe 15, 20?
The 10 to 15.
10 to 15, like,
Like
A good chunk of Pittsburgh wrestling has been captured
I
by
was
you.
independently filming it in 2012. I worked for somebody else before that. But
Yeah.
but I've filmed more.
20 years of...
Almost 20 years, yeah. We 2008 when I started.
You have been doing this longer than Ava Brooks has been alive.
It's actually funny because we were showing some of my backyard wrestling stuff.
Oh, phenomenal.
In like 2006 or something like that, and I was already doing lower thirds, and they were like blown away by that.
It shows you what you would become. So.
It's all out there if you know where to find it. You can see some very terrible backyard wrestling, and it's under my name and everything, and other weird things that I did in the 2000s. But a lot of it informed what eventually, it was proto for what ended up, when we first took over for a couple promotions here and everything. So yeah. So
a lot of history, and hopefully some more will be made.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Chris LeRusso, one of my favorite people I have on the show here. And I know we didn't get to much main wrestling news or anything.
I do
hope you
but I do
guys
appreciate you letting me come
Yes.
in and
Always
plug the
fun.
seminar and plug 880. So
That's
thank you
right.
for that.
Again, 880 Wrestling, no ceilings, but also you do pop up on the Thursday night fights that you can watch on all indiewrestling.us streams. And then that is Friday night, May 30th. And of course, if you are a wrestler in the business, want to get involved, it is the Pittsburgh Pro Wrestling Camp and Combine in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. What is the name of your company again?
Avalon Training and Entertainment.
There you go. That is the social media accounts on Facebook
Yes.
and Instagram if
Yes.
you want to communicate there.
And Chris LeRusso, and you can also hit me at Chris LeRusso on Instagram,
That's right.
Facebook. I got off of X. That's a cesspool.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, that's just a placeholder right now. It's got Chris, Big League John McChesney, the Big Boss. I'm sensing a theme. Glenn Spector, Colin Delaney. I don't think has big in his name, and big announcer Kevin Kelly.
Phenomenal.
So,
Phenomenal.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We're gonna have a break real quick, and we'll be back and talk a little bit of wrestling briefly.
I'm Eamon.
I'm Merlin.
And we're a gay.
And his NB.
Are you a reality television connoisseur?
Do you like it discussed from an LGBTQ lens?
If so, A Gay and His NB is the podcast for you.
Hear us break down all your favorite guilty pleasure reality shows from Bravo, Drag Race, and just about everything in between.
Listen to A Gay and His NB on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Wrestling Mayhem Show. Wrestling Mayhem Show. Where the mayhem happens. Yada yada. We are back. Chris LeRusso is off into the wind. And I have a co-host dropping in right now. If he gives me hey, it's the Riz.
I'm late.
You were afraid to pop in during the Chris LeRusso segment. I understand.
Of course.
Super kicks for all, but I was sad he couldn't see the Bradley. There you go. And we got an eagle.
Oh,
there
and also Bradley. You want Bradley?
Yeah,
too?
yeah, because we didn't get there in Patreon. And can you make sure that can you message that picture? Not that one. Well, send that one too.
Send this one
Just
to him.
that one, and then send the Bradley one to Chris, please, so he can, get the full experience, the full mayhem show. There you go. There you go.
There it is.
Hey. Bradley, thank you for the gift, by the way. So
the gift that keeps on giving.
We do approve. We do appreciate gifts being sent to the studio. Our address is pretty freely available. I probably shouldn't say that on the internet.
No,
but so oh boy, now I gotta watch what up. Now I gotta get a metal detector. Anyways, Riz, how you doing?
I'm here, Sorg.
So I see it feels like I'm 2 weeks behind on Dynamite, and I watched 3 or 4 of them in the last 24 hours. So I'm catching up with things. We got Saturday night's main event coming up this weekend. We do have Double or Nothing coming up this weekend, which I don't even want to preview because I'm not caught up on AEW to know what the card actually is. There's this cage match I'm still waiting for. There's I'm sure there's a few other things that need to be sorted before I know what the pay-per-view is this weekend. Thankfully I've been desperately busy, so I have not been able to. It took me 3 nights to watch Raw last week. Let's put it that way, because I kept passing out from my long days up in the Speedway. Anyways, Riz, what do you want to talk about?
The one thing, I don't know if you didn't see the injury, did you?
Injuries, Zoe's injury. I did. I did have Raw on during while I was doing some work today, so I did catch how it happened and how awkward it kind of became. So it's very serious. Do we have any new news on that? Nope, that's not right.
No, not is John Cena again. No, we match. I just noticed that.
Yeah, you matched Bradley in the picture.
I don't have any updates on that.
Okay.
But just from a viewer's perspective on that, seeing Kairi Sane is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I like that she's back. But I was kind of half paying attention to the match, and then I hear Zoe yell Kyrie, like Kyrie's name, and I'm looking over there. I see Kyrie's over on one side, while Zoe's jumping from the other side. I'm like, she's not gonna make it. And then that happened. I'm like, okay, yeah, injuries suck at that, and Zoe's had issues with that before. So yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, I really wanted to also talk about Saturday night's main event, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, no, I'm caught up on WWE for the most part. NXT,
good.
I need to catch up on, but
Okay.
yeah, no, let's
So-
talk about it. So what are we doing in Saturday night's main event?
So first of all, I want John Cena to lose to R-Truth.
Is this for the championship?
It's for the championship,
Okay.
and I've heard it through the grapevines before. I'm like, where they go, yeah, give him the title for like a week,
Mhm.
and then drop it to John Cena.
Can we
next
do
week.
that for him? Can we do that for Ron Killings, please?
Just one?
Because
Because-
just once. Like, I don't even care if it's like honestly, I would be happy with a dusty finish.
Yeah.
Let us
Mhm.
think he's the champion for a minute. I'm okay
Because-
with that.
You know who's the oldest champion in WWE history? Vince.
Okay.
So if they're breaking all these records, like with John Cena and doing all that stuff,
Truth will beat it. How old's Truth
Truth
again?
will be Truth's 58.
Impossible. Impossible.
Look it up.
Oh my God.
Google it.
What a magical individual. Absolutely magical individual.
And I hate
Love
to
it.
say this, 'cause, on the other side of the spectrum, even though it's not going to happen, just like probably R-Truth's not going to happen, I kind of, sort of, want to see Logan Paul win. I kind of want to see Logan Paul win. See what he has. Put a belt on him. Yeah, I know. Just keep going back and forth. It's fine. I'll keep talking. It's fine. Back to you. Back to me. Back to you. Back to me. Back to you. But yeah, seriously. I hate him.
53.
53, really?
53 says Tina.
I hate
Still, he moves better than I do.
I hate TikTok now, or Reels, where I get all my wrestling news. It's my Instagram Reel page, that timeline that gave me false information.
Oh man, there you go. Believe in the internet again.
Dang internets. But still, I want to see both championships change hands for some reason.
Mhm.
Don't know why. I like chaos.
That seems right.
You've seen Mayhem Mania.
Mhm.
You know what I do.
It's true. That is true.
But they kind of spoiled it with like
Hmm.
announcing the Gunther match.
Did they though? Because did you see what they did on Raw? They put every configuration face to face.
Mhm.
Hey, when this happens, make sure you remember me. Da da da. Remember, I'm waiting. Kind of thing. Like they set the table for every possibility. They went through pains on Monday night to play what if with Seth, with Logan, with Gunther, with Jay. Okay.
Okay.
And Sammy's kind of thrown in there a little bit too, at least story wise, right?
Right.
With the side story. Also, the CM Punk singing with the run out.
Mhm.
It was like, wow, that was impressive. So
That's one of the biggest pops I've heard at a
that was ridiculous.
Raw
That was
didn't
insane.
have
Yeah.
any like any surprises.
That was
That was like a big
incredible. I love how singing, like, thank you AEW for singing wrestling crowds. Like, I love it. Love it.
Well, I mean, there is AW here, but also thank you, like British wrestling that
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Thank you,
sings.
WWE, for showing us how the Europeans do it so that we can do it too. Because a lot of those
Mhm.
chants came over after that tour.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Other than that, I guess the
Yeah.
tag match is gonna be fun too.
So Yeah, the tag match will be fun. I think the Saturday Night's Main Event, it's kind of like weird because it's like kind of this weird betweener kind of event kind of thing. So I don't expect too much from it, but it's going to set up. I always look at it's like this is the thing that's going to set up to the next show, but it's going to be a fun ride kind of thing, right? So it does take a little bit of air out of the room. I believe Double or Nothing is Sunday. So I'm glad I get to at least watch it in person because I'm working Friday and Saturday for wrestling shows. I say that like it's a bad thing, but and by the way, I want to say take this moment right now to give props to Riz for stepping in. And even though I had some terrible communication last week with all the events going on, and stepping into ringside when I forgot to give you a heads up. So
like you see this shot.
Yeah,
that's a Riz shot.
That is a Riz shot. Like that's the magic that I want. Especially when the hard cam fell off for the first half, and you had no hard cam.
I keep on hearing the producer going, "Oh, the hard cam's on the side."
She keeps sending me pictures of her sad hard cam while I'm sitting up in Michigan, streaming an awards ceremony at the Michigan Speedway.
So we have the. Wait, no, it wasn't. Do we have footage for just the hard cam?
Oh, just the hard cam. I could tell you I have something. Give me 1 second to find it.
Because I know we found out that it wasn't like we set it up and then I think we forgot to hit record at one point.
So first of all, just a visual for you guys. Sorry, audio. This is what she sent me first. I was like, oh, it's looking up at the back of the basketball hoop because of the gymnasium that RWA shoots in, right? And then there's like, I get this shot that's sideways and off to the side. I'm like, that's not okay.
Nope.
So that happened, I guess. So, there's me at the weed store. Yeah. So
was that? Did you just want to throw it out?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, there's me at the weed store. I'm experimenting. Okay, I have what I've been taking, and I was like, hey, let's see what cookies are like. Listen, I was in Michigan, bro. I'm like, we're rocking this stuff. This is one of the fringe benefits of the work I do. So, but anyways. So props to Endo in Adrian, Michigan, by the way. Fantastic experience. I haven't tried the goods yet because I've been working too hard. But when I'm done working, oh boy, I'm going to have a very nice Memorial Day because I'm making myself take a day off.
Is it Endo Amore, sir?
We can experiment.
John Cena.
We can have some Riz. Let's have some special cookies when we watch Double or Nothing.
Never actually. So. Okay. All right. Weird thing with me.
Uh-oh. I think
I don't drink?
Yeah, I know. I kind of just considered you were straight edge or something. I didn't want to ask.
Yeah, I haven't done anything.
And that's okay. I don't want to pressure you. Officially, I don't want to pressure you. So like we all got our thing, and that's absolutely fine. I'm just saying, if you want to try a cookie with me, I got a special cookie for you, Riz.
That sounds.
I got a special cookie waiting over here for you. Waiting over here for you. Let's come back to these parts. Oh no, Tina! Every time I go back to your parts, Rich Bocchini drags me off to the weed store, and I'm just like, bro, can we fly with these? I don't know if that's how that works, but he's like, usually don't give a shit. I'm like, all right. Hardcam had reason to be sad. How about everyone is running a Saturday on the Saturday TNA is in town? Yeah, I'm out of town too. I was sad. I personally apologize to Elijah for not being around for his Pittsburgh return. So I'm like, bro, you're not around. I had to come to, where was Mania? I had to come to Vegas to see you. So how weird is that? Anyways, where are we at? Double or, again, I'm not going to you can go to another podcast for your Double or Nothing preview because I don't even know what's happening because I am in a time warp. I'm time copying in the reverse to find out. Now, every Tony Storm promo that's come over my social media feed, I'm going to watch and pay attention to because it is timeless. And man, is she getting hornier?
Yeah.
Is she? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. Amazing. Amazing. I also have I've earmarked this because I think it's going to be fantastic. I found there was an interview on YouTube. Soraya was interviewing RJ City on her, I think, podcast or something like that. So that's earmarked because I think he does talk about his stuff with Tony Storm on there. So that I want to listen to that. For sure, because it's we pontificated and kind of confirmed when I talked to him, but I didn't want to dig. We didn't have a lot of time, but anyways,
Too busy calling me a potato.
we were reflecting on your potato-ness in that instance. He was like, how is that potato? I think was his comment. So,
Stop
but it was like a
it.
year ago, but whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
God, our lives are so amazing and weird. Anyways, I do want to add, and let's get at what we learned out of this, okay? And wrap this up appropriately. Oh no, I did it wrong. Oh no, we're back. There we go. Hold on, let me hit the right graphic. There you go. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza, feeding our guests here. That's why Chris LeRusso had so much energy, because he was pepperoni fueled. So thank you everybody down the street there for checking in. They walk right in and deliver the pizza to the back room. I love it. I love our crew down there. Officially the best cheese pizza in the world. There's a trophy down there. It's fantastic. So go check them out if you're in the Pittsburgh area. They're the pizza company that's very good, that still has their roof. No shade. Literally no shade. There's no roof on that one place.
Yeah.
So because the storm took it away a couple weeks ago, which makes me sad. I hope they save their cheese, because they're also fantastic, but they don't sponsor us, because Slice is my number one. Heart fingers. I'm doing it.
That's a taco.
Really,
You pointed to the taco.
is
Sword.
it a taco fingers?
No, you pointed at the taco.
I pointed at taco. It's more like I'm doing the binoculars now. Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
What Rizzical? What did you learn? Who's telling me about what? First of all, I think Swemba doesn't know what you sound like.
I don't. I barely talk.
You've
there.
been to 2 of his shows backstage.
I have been. I don't talk at like. Okay.
He's pontificating about how one of the co-owners didn't enjoy. There's an incident where the the headsets went out, and we had put the person with the master headset out ringside, and they weren't, so we couldn't communicate. He's busy on camera, so we can't tell him to. So I sent Riz, and I don't see Riz for the I switched a Darius Lockhart match, half of it, without any communication to my camera people. And apparently I was just frantically yelling, "Where's Riz? Get me Riz." And one of the co-owners of Enjoy was like messaging Sky, like, I don't know, Riz is really hot, or Shorga's really hot, and yelling for some guy named Riz. So apparently that was a scene that I caused in the back. And then
I barely talk to people when I'm actually there, right?
I know you do, but I don't realize, because we're talking about production, and I don't realize that's not extending to anybody else. Situation. Were you there for the wedding? I just watched the wedding. I talked to Chris about it earlier.
Oh yeah,
I can't. What an experience that must have been.
Like I said, Dark Sheik is probably one of the best wrestlers, because they wrestled in high heels that entire match. But yeah, I like, if you see me and I'm just like there, if you say hi to me, I'm just gonna be like, I don't speak as much as I do on shows like this, where Sorg just keeps not saying anything, allowing me to talk to Vamp.
What'd you learn?
Awesome. Can I say the thing I learned? Like, can I say the thing about what happened Saturday? Like, just hinting at it.
Which thing?
The thing.
I don't know which thing we're talking about.
The thing that happened.
That thing.
Yeah. Or do you want to just? No. Yeah.
No. I would like to not bring attention to that situation.
Oh yeah, we're not going to.
But it's kind of out of the back now. Hey fans, don't be fucking assholes and touch the wrestlers. Let's just say this, okay? And I brought it to some people's attention, and it will be handled. Okay. So that's no. We
other than
listen.
That,
anything that puts wrestlers and video crew in danger is a fucking no-go as far as I'm concerned. And there's a couple incidents recently that I'm having to deal with, including that one. There's about 3 incidents over the weekend of respect and danger that I'm having to deal with. And it's not all even wrestling. So there are going to be meetings and meetings, and they start tomorrow.
Other than that, the thing I learned in wrestling this week is along that same line or just at RWA in general. It's very hard to film when someone is there that you've known for 20 years.
Is this like the conversation I just had with Chris about how long we've been doing this?
Yeah, like when you're on the same side as somebody like Norm Connors, and like he's actually talking to you while you're doing the camera work. Like,
wait, was he trying to have a conversation with you while you were working again?
Yeah,
Norm, what are you doing?
Okay, so I'm
listen,
like
Norm. No, granted. Listen, I've worked with him in a couple of different capacities. He's very excited to be there. Okay, so he's very
excited to do things.
He's very. I've seen him in other. I've actually seen him recently in non-wrestling capacities. He's just very excited, and I love that. I love his energy.
Like he's, and again, just like you, Sorg, I love Norm.
Yes,
like Norm. But the best thing is he like comes up to you. And like I'm standing here.
This is your ringside on camera, and this is happening, right? I want to get context correct for anybody that wasn't there.
And then he's like leaning right on me. I'm like, oh, and he starts like doing heel commentary work on the camera. I'm like, oh, okay,
he doesn't know we're not using those mics. Okay,
yeah,
it's all right. That's all right. I mean, it's the fault. I get it.
I get to hear and work. It's weird getting to work with Norm.
Norm is one of your childhood independent wrestling heroes. Let's put it this way.
Pretty much. Yes.
Because you went to his shows. Norm gave you the gift of good Pittsburgh independent wrestling when you needed it.
Yeah.
And now you get to work alongside him.
And now I get to work with
I understand that. Yeah.
And then I might have kind of touched the briefcase a little bit. Anyways, what did you learn in wrestling?
What briefcase? What's a briefcase? What's the briefcase gimmick?
Oh yeah, you haven't been there.
Well, I haven't been there, and I don't get to watch enough of it to know the stories.
So, Norm is now managing
the revenue.
The
Rev Ron Hunt, who is now the revenue. I'm still not sure if I'm okay with this as a concept. So, anyways,
you don't have to. He also dresses in like all money gear. Like it's
the money pants. He needs to have a match with Big Jim Fridge to see who keeps the money pants, though, because I think they have the same ones. Yeah.
But yeah, he and Norm are together, and the revenue does come out with a briefcase, and they both explicitly told me not to touch the briefcase.
Okay.
While I was on camera.
Good to know. Good to know.
I might have, if I wasn't on camera, if I was told not to be on, if I was told that I was not on camera at that point, I might have just boop. I booped it. I might have booped it. I might have booped it. It was right in front of me.
Okay. All right.
And I was told not to do it, so I did it.
So it's like, don't press the red button. You press the red button. I got you. So.
What's the red button for? I don't know. Don't press it.
No, we're going to find out. Chat room?
Sorg, what did you learn?
Oh, I was going to go to the chat room, and then we're going to do the
first. I forgot.
Chat room, something chat room. Oh, I thought they were in here, but I think I asked a while ago, and they might have got buried. Dave Ponder learned that everyone is welcome on NXT. LFG men attacking Oba Fenley and TNA champs having a concert. Oh my God, I need to catch up on that too. Tina learned that we eating good as wrestling fans this weekend is no exception. Yes, I mean, not only that, again, we have Big League Wrestling in the area that has a tremendous card. It'll be on the network eventually, or VOD eventually, I guess. And Exodus is going to be on NWA YouTube again on Friday night. Riz, I could use a camera guy or a graphics guy. Just saying, it's getting hard to book on Fridays. Anyways, we shouldn't be doing this on air. W is a great past year. It's using every single possibility for a storyline. Oh, that was responsible before. And I need to go back to Seattle. Yes.
When we go to Seattle?
Man,
Can we go to Seattle?
man, there's a slight door that creaked open. Hopefully within a year. We'll see what happens. Actually, I will put this out. I do understand I'll be going to at least Portland about this time next year. So I'm just throwing that out there. So there's that. I know it's like state
because
away, but...
I was gonna say because Seattle, Washington.
I know it's not.
Portland,
it's like
Oregon,
4 hours away or something, right? So I know,
like
but
next door.
I'm in that. Listen, I'm excited to generally be going back to the Pacific Northwest because I love the Pacific Northwest. Honestly, like it's pretty great. So even Northern California is kind of awesome. When I learned several years ago, we have this project that we did over the weekend. I talked about it a lot on the Awesome Cast tonight. If you go check that out, where we were live streaming Formula SAE up in the at Michigan Speedway over this past weekend. Stream was Friday and Saturday, and So in the back of my mind, when I'm booking something like this, I go back to what happened. I mentioned this a couple of times in the last couple of weeks amongst people. There was this really cool thing that happened when I got to go do my first WrestleMania production, which was, props to Mike Moran for putting together this team that took care of both the GCW Collective and the WrestleCon group of shows back when they did a lot of shows for WrestleCon. With high spots and stuff. And this is a weekend I was basically in charge of the room for WrestleCon, where we did a AAA show, a New Japan show. That's where I met Patrick with New Japan. They got us in there. Did an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view. And the Multiverse one where I think Lady Frost was in the X Division, the Ultimate X match. And worked with a lot of great people. And that's where I got to meet the GoPro guys. I got to meet, hook up with the, I think I worked with them previously at an MMA show, but work a lot with the New Fear City guys, and a lot of other people that were really cool, and others groups that are escaping my head at the moment, but, and of course, me and the New Japan crew and everything too. And when I was trying to think about how to configure a team that I can trust, and I went to wrestling, and we had a wonderful crew of what I think are the best production people, video people in the Midwest, amongst, and obviously there's plenty of people that can go on this list that were not available, had other obligations, or didn't fit for one reason or another, that obviously we, from our team that I love working with and in Cleveland and other places too. But this was like the best configuration I could think of, planning, availability, etc. It was our buddy Chad, OG of the Wrestling Mayhem Show, that's been working with us for years. It was great to get him on a gig after he's been kind of off with us for a couple years and just kind of doing his thing. He had some life changes and stuff. Scotty from Enjoy was with us, and he's actually been my number 2 on a lot of these gigs where I need an extra person. So it's been cool to bring him in the fold on these things. Jared and Mike from Exodus have been doing really cool stuff with us. I knew they could handle this. Hardcam Frio, check out his YouTube channel from Detroit. That's all I'm going to say. Proceed. Who else was there that I'm not thinking of? Intern John was a part of this as well. And I think that rounds everybody out there. So it was, we had an Airbnb lake house, and it was just, we did a lot. Everybody worked hard. Everybody worked efficiently. Everyone worked good. As I told them, with a minimal yet appropriate amount of complaining, because the weather sucked and there's some situations outside of our control that were great. But we, if you can handle wrestling, you can handle anything, is what I always say in production. When I'm training you guys at Thursday night for 880, is to potentially get a really good payday at a freaking NASCAR racetrack in Michigan. That is the goal, and we realize the goal for that. This isn't wrestling related, other than it's wrestling related, because this is where all these people came from. Much like when you take a wrestler and get them into the movies and acting, they're usually already ready to go because they've been doing improv for their entire careers, right? In front of people. They're basically doing theater, physical theater. So put them in front of a camera just as a no-brainer in a lot of cases. Just like these guys, they can. We've had comments in the past about how great our people are on situational awareness. Like, say, a experimental airplane a student built is falling out of the sky. Heads up. And that is because of the way we breed our video programs around here. They're not on the biggest shows all the time, but the big shows do prune our people from time to time, and they're very happy with the results. So I'm very proud of that crew that we've been able to assemble. And the lead-in, what I was getting to, and I'm taking the long way around, the very coolest thing was sitting around talking about our productions and sharing some thoughts, and then sitting around a TV that had a Roku with YouTube and showing all of our old backyard wrestling experiences in early shows that we filmed. That was a wonderful thing. I'm sorry that I was drunk and didn't realize that my phone was taking over the YouTube for some periods, and I showed you far too much Sorg stock. But still, seeing that, or Frio showing us some of the stuff he's been filming and everything like that. What's that? You still have the Sorg stock DVD? They saw the promo for it. We had to show him Chad's kick heard around the world, and I'll let this cat out of the bag too. If you just search Sorg stock on YouTube, have fun, and I'm sorry. So I even found one with Chachi from like 2001 that I posted. It's wild. It was a great experience with that, just to pal around without a wrestling show, with a bunch of wrestling fans who do production around wrestling.
Shit, there it is.
It's such a, oh God, he found it. What's the first video you're looking at?
I know. I was just scrolling down the list.
Mm-hmm.
There's
some of them don't age well. Like the Mexican border jump match probably doesn't. The winner got a green card. That probably does age well now that I think about it.
2006 crap. 2006 no clue.
Okay, that's one of those guys does art for Twisted now, by the way. So
Summer Edition.
Yeah. We don't need to get into this. Let everybody just run their own. But
there's Chachi's big face. This is right in the camera.
There's his big face. He says,
look, it's like right there. It's like.
Anyways,
2008, by the way.
Oh yeah, we were. Oh right, that was during the early days of this show.
Dick Toad's sweet ass.
And this has been your Wrestling Mayhem Show. Thank you so much, Riz, for popping in. Thank you so much, Chris LeRusso, for chatting my ear off tonight. Go check out his seminar if you're a wrestler. Go check out No Ceilings 880 Wrestling at Penn Brewery, hopefully outside on the garage if the weather cooperates. So I'm going to start keeping an eye on that situation and getting the pop-up tent ready. Thank you guys so much. That's a different podcast. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys next week, where who knows who my guest is going to be, because I haven't booked them yet. I'm waiting for suggestions. We'll see you then. Mayhem out. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.